All right, so we got some bronze unranked play, both random. That's awesome. Got a 105 level account here versus 26. That's a lot of levels. Random v random on Coda LE. Get hype. I've never cast a game before. This is my first ever cast. I think it's really appropriate that we're starting from the bottom with bronze versus unranked. Gives me lots of time to know what's up. Okay. So, oh, can I hide this? Yeah, I can. Great, awesome. So, in the left-hand corner of Coda, we have GNR Fish playing Protoss. In the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have Corey playing the blue Zerg, and GNR is playing the red Protoss too. If I haven't made that clear. So this is bronze versus unranked. Um, I'm really interested to see how this will go. We've got GNR Fish coming out with his 9 pylon. Oh, he's going to make his pylon down by his expand, meaning that he's probably going to take a fast nexus, or maybe he's going to put a force field here, or maybe he just wants to put his gateway here and do a gateway expand, gateway cybercore, and he just wants it at his ramp and his natural. Who's to say? Mr. Corey he was thinking about doing something with this drone, but he realized that now is not the time for that. He's just pumping out his little drones. Whoop. Fish coming across for his scout. You know what I'm really excited about for Legacy of the Void? If I keep casting, if that keeps being a thing, I'm really excited for the idea that this part of the game isn't going to be a thing. This really early warm up, where I don't have anything to talk about. All right, cool. So Fish is making his forge, which means he's probably going to look for. Oh man, he's probably going to look for a cannon, but his probe just got really beat up. He's only a couple of hits away when his shield regenerates, and he's just gonna turn around and go home. Corey's got a spawning pool coming down, 14 pool, and he's gonna make a 13 expand. I don't totally hate this. I mean, it's not very orthodox, but it could be worse. He could be not expanding at all. And back home, we've just got our gateway coming up for Mr. Fish, and he's going to be expanding shortly. He's got his pylons and his cannons. Oh my, Protoss things are happening. Corey's taking his gas, which means he's probably going to pump out some pretty early speed. If he's anything like me, or he might just tech straight to Roaches or Lair. Who knows what he'll do with this gas. He's going to poke 3 drones in there. Excellent. And back home, everything's pretty standard. No gas is taken yet for the Protoss. But everything's going pretty average. He's blocking off. I think that I feel like Lings could probably get in there. I don't think this is a total wall off by Fish, but maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll find out. He's making his first Zealot. He's taking a gas in his main now, and he still hasn't taken that natural. Corey's going to come in and see that the natural's not there. He's going to see this wall off, and that'll be super great for him. We've got 2 lanes back home. We're still mining that gas. He has enough for his speed now. Is he going to make his speed? Oh, he's making his queen. Taking another gas, and an evolution chamber. That's really interesting. So if I had to bet, I'd say he's probably going to do a 2-base Roach all in, just based off of this. But I'm also talking out of my ass because I don't know. I don't know what he might do. He's definitely not getting speed. He should probably make some more drones. I hope he doesn't take 3 from this line and put him in here. That would be a little bit unfortunate. But his natural's up. He's making lots of lings. Okay, he does decide to make the speed upgrade for his Zerglings. And he's probably going to do. He might do +1 melee, +1 carapace. Who knows? The Nexus is coming up, and I believe that Corey has seen that. Yes, he has. Protoss versus a Ling all in like this should be pretty fine. We've got another Zealot coming out to make this super secure, and in the main the Cybercore is coming down, so we're going to have sentries and stalkers. The second gas is up, and Fish is doing a really nice job back home. We're still pumping out lings. Corey's loving his lings. I love my lings too. Super exciting Zergling play is, I think. Speed's about halfway done, and we're just making lings and lings and lings. We haven't put any workers in this gas, but that's okay. We have lots of gas. In fact, if anything, I'd like to see him pull his workers out of gas now and just make this upgrade that he was going for, whichever one it was, the carapace or the melee attack. And it's the melee attack. That's awesome. I really like this play. As long as he drones up a little bit more. Okay, he's got 16. He's got saturated. Okay. What would be really neat is if he threw down a baneling nest and tried to bust this, because there's only zealots here. He doesn't know that yet, but there's only zealots. There's no sentries to force field this off and make it a bad time. We've got +1 attack coming in for Mr. Fish, and we've got Twilight Council, Gateway. So we're going to have 4-gate blink is the aim of Fish from here. We've got the zealots. Oh, it is a total wall off. This is not so great for Corey at all. He's losing lots of lings. Oh, he gets in. He gets into the main. This is fantastic. I didn't think that would happen. So he's going to be able to snipe off some workers. He's going to be able to deny mining time. These zealots are going to be super effective in a fight like this. They're going to tear the zerglings up to shreds. But these probes are also really good like that too. That was some respectable damage done by Corey. Maybe not as much as he could have done. And in the end of this play, he's certainly behind. He has 21 drones to Fish's 22. He's continuing to make lings, but the sad thing about lings is that he should never be able to get by this wall again. And he's going to have his +1 roughly around, just a little bit behind actually, Fish's +1 attack for his Protoss units. So he'll be a little bit even in that sense. It's not the worst. These zealots will tear these lings apart. He's got to move back with these right now, yeah. He's got to try and take some map control and make sure that he gets any proxy pylons that might go up around the map, but he's not. He's just throwing the lings away, which is fairly unfortunate. The problem with this kind of play versus Protoss is that they're just so effective walling things off. He almost had the pylon, I guess, but there was another pylon here powering the cannon anyways. So we've got Blink coming in now for Fish. He's going to do that 4-gate stalker that I was talking about. A third coming up for Corey. That's very, very risky. He doesn't have hardly any units at all, and he's not saturated in his natural yet. So I don't love this third base. I think that there are better things that he could do. He has 400 gas, and he's still mining gas. He's got his Roach Horn, and he's getting a Baneling Nest. So we're going to be doing some Roach Bane all in now. I think that's his game plan. 8 pylons, 8 pylons coming up. Wow, that's a lot of pylons. Fish is getting his +2 attack upgrade, and he's getting his robotics facility. Blink's still not quite done. He's chrono boosting on his Blink. That's super good. Wow, he's not going to be supply blocked for a really long time. Those 8 pylons, they're going to do a lot of work. Generally not the best idea to flood all of your minerals into just supply, but hey, whatever you want to do. We got some roaches coming out now for Corey. His army's still so small, but he's going to stay at home and he's going to just mine and do his workers. Stalkers are getting built up. We're going to see an Immortal? No, we're going to see an Observer, obviously because of that Blink play. He's going to be able to blink into the main here with the Observer vision. This Zealot coming in for a Scout. He's going to get this Ling, and then he's going to get murdered by other Lings. I don't think that Fish knows that this third has been taken. No, he does not. He's actually not scouted his opponent at all since that initial probe. But he's been kind of fine. Corey is coming across for his scout now. We're going to see this other Zealot come across and destroy that other Ling. This Overlord poking in here would be super good. Corey should know, just seeing these gateways, that something. Just seeing the gateway in the Twilight Council. Do you see the Twilight Council? Yeah, just seeing the Twilight Council in the gateways. He should know that something's up. And he's doing a pretty okay job. He's got all of his roaches. Yeah, he's just pumping out roaches. And some Banelings. I don't love Banelings versus Protoss, but we got some Sixth Sense coming down here. Corey's planting his roaches outside of his third on this ramp side. And the Stalkers are going to come in. I think this is enough Stalkers to fight this army. The Banelings are going to get shredded right away. And yeah, with Blink Micro, this army should just be totally destroyed. He doesn't have speed yet. This is going really bad for Corey right now. He's got 1 upgrade on his melee attack, but that's not going to do very much. It's 10 Stalkers to 8 Roaches. He's got a Blink. He's got to use his Blink Micro. Don't just kite. because that will let these roaches catch up and take some pot shots. But he's doing a respectable job. Corey is going to be able to hold off this. He's gonna keep making. He's making lings instead of roaches. Lings are good versus stalkers. Don't get me wrong, but if there are some zealots to tank, then it'll be a hard time for the lings. There is no proxy pylon for fish though. He's gonna come in here and he's gonna get some drones with these stalkers. Ooh, that was a pretty nifty blink. I would have liked him to stay here and just get all the cost-effective engagement that he could, though. Wow, I mean, he's not doing too bad. He's not doing too bad at all. Back home, he's doing nothing. Both players are floating a fair amount of minerals right now. We have Lair up for Mr. Corey, finally. That means that he's going to be able to get his speed upgrade. It's coming in now. And he's going to be able to do +2 attack upgrades, but he chooses to go for the carapace instead because he's still pumping out these lings. It would be really neat to see some Hydralisk play. Would be really good right now. He's just keeping pumping out the army, so it's only 7 stalkers, 3 zealots to 16, 20 zerglings, 3 roaches. If he could make more roaches, good. He's got 7 on the way. He should be able to hold, and he's got his 3rd base. As soon as he starts saturating that, oh my lordy lord, this is so many gateways. How many gateways is it? It is 4 and 7 in production, so 11 gateways are going to be the production choice for for GNR Fish. He's going to make a proxy pylon right here, and it'd be good when he comes up and presses. It'd be good if he could make another one here for sure to get that fast engagement, and then another one even right here. Just as many proxy pylons as you possibly can. To make sure that you have quick reinforcements when you need them. He's sending these 3 zealots over here, and I don't love that. I guess they're just trying to go in for a scout, but they're going to be picked off if the army notices. We're microing. Yeah, okay. So now this army should come down and kill these 3 zealots for essentially free. Maybe a couple of lings will die. Oh, a little bit worse than I thought. Corey's still making banelings. I'm not in love with that idea. Versus these blink stalkers. We've blinked into the main, but these are so few stalkers. They're going to get some overlords, and then they should be pushed out by this Zerg army. We have 2 macro hatches in the main. Not a terrible idea when you're doing some low-level play and you have a little bit of a harder time with your injects, the macro mechanics. I don't hate that idea at all. This is a pretty sizable army now for Corey. He could come over and crush this if he knew his opponent's strength. Back at home, we have an immortal happening versus these roaches. I think it's a little bit late for that. I think that honestly, what I would like to see is some robotics facility and get some colossi. Well, we're going to have a really big engagement here now. These lings are going to come in and they're going to tell this Protoss what's what. Oh, he needs to blink into this main. He needs to just do as much damage as he possibly can. I don't know if I like focusing on the roach one. Oh, the Zerg army is just going to move across map. He's not going to try and defend. So this could be really big for Fish, depending on how he handles this. If he makes some sentries right now and just makes sure that none of this can get in. Oh, but it gets in. I told you, I said I don't think this is a full wall off, and the Zerg player gets in. So we have a base race of sorts, but these stalkers should all die to these lings. And the reinforcing units, there just isn't enough here from the Protoss. This immortal is going to be picked off, easy peasy. And we're going to come in to the main as the Zerg player. These zealots aren't going to be able to save the Protoss main versus these roaches. These stalkers are still doing very, very respectable work though. Very respectable work, picking up lots of drones, lots of buildings. He's gotten the lair, he's gotten the roach horn. There is another roach horn remade right here. Got a spine crawler coming up. I'd love to just see all of these drones just spine. I think that would be really good for him right now. Just protect his bases. We've depowered some gateways. The cyber core might go down. All of these roaches are just doing a fair amount of work, but they are going to be picked off. Getting a little bit chokeholded, paying not quite enough attention to his army back at his opponent's base. And as long as these units keep coming in piecemeal, these stalkers are going to keep killing them off and doing work. A couple of stalkers die each time, but I mean, look at this. These 3 roaches, they're so low right now. There's still lots of gateways for Fish. He could be warping in some units. I don't know if they're all on cooldown or what. That was pretty well done by Fish, and initially very well done by Corey as well. But I feel like it was a little bit mishandled by the Zerg player. These roaches, they're gonna die if they go in piecemeal like this. He needs to wait for a nice army. He's remaking that spawning pool so he can get us a lair. Are these stalkers gonna get out? They just used their blink. So we're in a position where we have a less than 1 base Protoss versus a 2 base Zerg, and I think Zerg wins every time there. The supply is 60 to 40 right now. The unit count, workers are pretty even, but Protoss needs to take this base really soon if that's going to be anything that matters. 17 roaches to 8 stalkers. Stalkers do have blink, but it's not going to be enough. The thing about this level play is that although the workers are kind of even, it almost doesn't matter because you float so much minerals. You're trying to focus so hard doing other things. So you just got to keep your production up. Fish back home is just making stalkers. I'd love to see some sentries. I think some zoning would be really powerful. Maybe making a Templar Archive for some Storm, or just anything AoE would be very strong for the Protoss right now, but he doesn't really have the gas for it. He has more gas than Corey the Zerg, who's making another macro hatch right now, and another evolution chamber. I do like the evolution chamber. He does need to get those upgrades. So we're gonna mess. Okay, we're gonna try and Baneling bust in here. I don't love Banelings right now because there are no zealots to tank. Oh well, speak of the devils. So yeah, Zerglings are less strong with this Warpment of Zealots for sure. Let's see how this fight goes. Fish has the better initial engagement, but Corey gets his spread. Corey gets his concave on these stalkers, and the stalkers are forced to blink back. This is a really good engagement for Corey, but he needs to back off now. He doesn't have enough. He's going to be chokeholded here. Oh, Corey. Fish, some very powerful blink that you could be. There we go. That was what he needed. That blink was very good. And he's got his stalkers. He can chase these roaches home now. Production tab. He's still making links. Corey is, and I'm really not a fan of that. They're strong, but when you have a ball of stalkers like this, you can't get full surface area. You can't hit them all. It becomes difficult to make it an engagement worth your while. I did like the Banelings versus the Zealots though. That was a good choice. Star power Corey. He's got his 4th coming up. He hasn't retaken his main. There's still definitely a reasonable amount of minerals to be taken, and certainly gas is what's key. You always want to be mining as much gas as possible as a Zerg player. Fish coming down to have a little poke. He's going to knock down these rocks probably. Yep, there he goes. These Misrally Zealots are going to be gifted to the Zerg. Very unfortunate. What can you do? Zerg army's on 1-1 for melee and ranged. We've got cannons here for the Protoss. He's made 2 forges now, but he's not doing anything with them. We might have another potential base trade situation here. The Zerglings are coming in, the Roach is backing them up. I like this for the Protoss a lot right now. He's got such a sizable army over here, and all of these gateways are still powered. If he could just warp in even just 1 sentry and just hold his ramp. He's got to move these workers into his main though. Well, the Roaches came home. The Roaches and the Banelings came home, so these probes are going to be able to pick off this Zergling force. And Fish, GNR Fish, is only going to lose 2 cannons. While back at home, Corey's lost his 3rd. He's going to lose his macro hatch at his 3rd, and these stalkers, they should be able to get out. They should be able to just run away. Yeah, just like that. He's got to be careful versus the Zerglings. This attack path is open now. He's going to be able to come back whenever he wants. Just blink away, Fish. Just blink away. This is an argument for the Zerglings here. As the Protoss is running away, these are going to do a lot of work. Got 4 Roaches coming back in, trying to snipe this natural Nexus. They're gonna hammer on it, but they're not gonna be able to get it. I don't believe. Corey, Does not get the Nexus. It's so low. It's on 69. 69 health. Stalker army is enormous. Enormous out of fish. Corey, back at home, he's making Zerglings and Zerglings and Zerglings. Does he have a queen? Excuse me. Corey doesn't have a queen. He's on 3 hatcheries, no queen. His production's going to be totally shut down. The supply's even right now. GNR's fish is in a beautiful position. He saved his Nexus. He only really needs to keep that Nexus alive, and he's in a beautiful spot because the Zerg is on 1 base and less workers, less saturation, with a few idols. He's got some workers over here. And if he just keeps making Zerglings, then this wall is going to be the death of him. He's finally got some sentries coming in. Oh yes, just force field. Just wall off this ramp. Just make sentries, Mr. Fish or Mrs. Fish or whatever you may identify as. The Fish, GNR. So Banelings are going to be the choice. I really don't love this now. Versus Stalkers, it's just not the best plan. There's no wall here to be breaking down with the Banelings. There we go. No run by for you today. So strong, sentries. Their very own little map editor, Protoss. Keeps making these macro hatches. He still doesn't have any queens. Yeah, still no queens. Not the strongest choice to make macro hatches, definitely. But hey, what can you do? Force field to ramp, force field to ramp, force field to Banelings out. Okay, a little bit really late force field, but it did happen, and that'll be definitely powerful. All of these forces weren't able to engage there. Did come in and do a lot of work. GG. Corey has no army left, and Fish wins the game. Fish, GNR Fish, GNR Fish. Awesome.